So I decided while I had all this out, I would make a quick little video. I'm making a new wiring harness for this 64. I've done it before. It's just a big disaster. It's a nightmare. I don't care what anybody says. I had that video about how complicated these cars are, and that whole busted wiring harness in that 164. And one guy commented, "Oh, why don't you just get a painless harness? And you don't know what you're doing." But painless doesn't make a harness this big. I think 21 circuits or something, and they're just really basic in these cars, especially the convertibles. They have so much crap, it's ridiculous. But anyway, people are always asking me, hey, do you know what wires go in this purple connector, or where these wires go, or what the wires going to this relay look like? So I do little videos and pictures and stuff like this for myself. While I have things like these are relatively clean, I can at least see what colors the wires are. So I can always go back and pause the video at a certain spot and try to see which wires are going in where. So I figured I'd go ahead and post this for you guys. This is obviously the like the main little power block that goes through the firewall, so it separates the engine bay wiring harness, which is there, from the inside of the car. I've kind of got it laid out how it goes in the car. This is, like I said, that is going out towards the front of the car. That's the right side, that's the left side. This is, let's see, going up to the this would be the solenoid, starter solenoid and stuff, and that would be the two sides of that. And then it comes down around here. I believe this is for the AC blower, which, see, one of the reasons I make these wiring harnesses is because I can do away with a lot of the original stuff, because like I'm doing vintage air on this car, so I won't need any of those wires underneath the engine bay, and so why have them? This is going up to the front. I believe the lights and turn signals. This is the I think going down to the alternator. But anyway, this is going across to the other side. This goes to the brakes and stuff. Then back around to this is the wire to turn the compressor on, which again, it'll be all different for this car. So rather than leave all this stuff hanging in there and all this extra stuff that I don't necessarily need, just making a new wiring harness, and plus have the benefits of all the wires being new. This actually isn't, this one all looks pretty good. This didn't come out of the car that I'm working on. If the car that I was working on was, this decent, I might not be going this route. But a lot of times they don't look this good. They've been hacked up and cut up and spliced into and things. So these are the little circuit breakers that go in these little slots here. So like I said, I'm just doing this, I mean, we're not wasting anybody's time or whatever, but a lot of times people ask me, hey, on that one circuit breaker, mine only has a red wire and a brown wire. Isn't there supposed to be a black one with a green stripe? Or do you know what color that other wire is supposed to be? So maybe somebody can watch this video and, like you said, pause it at the part that you need if you're trying to figure out where these, what wires come out of these connectors. So this, let's see, these these big ones here are going into there, and I might actually show you on the car where it's all hooked up. These feed the wiring harness that goes across the dash, and then this little section here goes to the actual dash, the wires that go behind the dash, which is these, and these are normally, these feed all the electronics, the little fuse panel, all the lights, all the dash lights. The fuse goes to the horn, I mean the light switch, all that stuff, your radio, all your interior lights, your amp meter wires. That's these. This is the thing that a lot of people have problems with. They start fires. You got to get that extra washer behind it and stuff, or just do away with it, which is what most people do. This little set goes to your factory radio. I believe these go up to the light switches. I'm not 100% sure looking at it like this. Let's see, this is for the antenna switch. This is probably for that courtesy map light thing. But anyway, I'm actually this time I'm going to do a little, this is for the light switch. So again, this is one of those things people will ask sometimes, hey, what wires are supposed to be going in there? What do they look like? What order do they go in? So I don't know if this is going to help people or not, but just figured I'd do it while I had it all out here and easy. I'm not trying to crawl under a dash and try to take a picture of, you know, where this purple wire is going into the light switch. So it's a little bit easier to see here for people. And then it goes across the dash here, and like these go down to the steering column. And again, this is a 64, but a lot of them are pretty similar. They're set up anyway, but that's what kind of sucks. These two plugs go into the steering wheel. I think this one's the horn. So what does kind of makes this a little difficult is, it might be neutral safety switch. Every year is different on these cars, so that's tough too. So even if I make a whole new wiring harness for a 64 and I copy it all out, write it all down, and I get it down packed, I got to do a 64 or 65 next. It's different, you know. And actually this harness here is for a hardtop, so the one I'm making is for a convertible. It's actually going to be a little different. It's going to have some more wires. This is for the going down to the light switch on the ground. I believe that's a ground for it. And then one of the crazy things is right about here is where it goes through the door, and then these are all the window switches and stuff for the door, the cigarette lighter and crap like that, which again, I'm not going to have a cigarette lighter, so some of the stuff won't be here, but I will have actually maybe some fiber optics in this door, so there'll be, I might use similar lines. But anyway, it's crazy. Like this wiring harness goes all the way across the dash and down to the kick panel there, and they didn't put any, and then in through the driver's door, you would think they would have like a connector here, so you didn't have to take your door apart, and you know, if you had some kind of issue, or if you did have to take your door out, you know, you could just undo that wire and leave all the wiring in the door. But if you had to take your door off, you had to take all that wiring out because it's all together. So that was kind of crazy. But anyway, here, a lot of people ask about the back of the fuse panel, what it should look like. Here you go. And again, you know, maybe somebody's missing a wire or one splice or something. This car was pretty much unmolested, so that's why I'm taking this video like this. And I believe this splits here. Again, this would be the bottom, so what's the top here is the bottom. The bottom row is for, if I'm not mistaken, the all of the ignition stuff that comes on with the ignition. So this main wire, the black with the green stripe, is the one that comes in from, if I'm not mistaken, let's see, from the ignition here. And so then when you turn the key on, that feeds this bus bar here, which feeds all the bottom fuses there. And again, I could be, you know, who knows, I could be wrong right now. I'm just kind of pointing stuff out as I go. So what I'm about to do now is, again, like I said, I've done this before, but I didn't write anything down. I didn't, you know, I wasn't planning on making it where somebody else could do this if they had to, or if I had to do it again, because it's not something I really ever want to do again. But I may try to get out here with my power probe and trace some of these wires, and you know, figure out exactly which one's going where, label them, make a little diagram. I know that the manuals are pretty good and they have a wiring diagram, but that's, you know, for some reason for me and maybe some other people, it's really difficult to follow those diagrams. And a lot of times you're just looking at, you want to look at one wire, and a lot of them don't have the they're kind of split up. Some have the colors, some don't. But then you know, so if you're looking at, like, these are the amp meter wires, so if you were trying to figure out where one certain wire goes, which I get, like I said, I get that call all the time, or a message on Facebook. Someone's like, hey, you know where this green wire with the red stripe goes, or what it does? So I'm gonna try to come up with something, a little list of things, and a little bit better wiring diagram, maybe with some colors. But like I said, while I had this out, figured I'd do a little slow walkthrough. Again, these are the ones going into the dash, so these are the colors, and you see where they connect over there. So maybe this video will help somebody, but I know it'll help me. I do this all the time, And then as I'm going back and I'm doing something else, I'm like, where the hell did this pink, because this will actually come out, where did this pink wire go? And I can go back and look at one of these videos that I made, and then just pause it at that point and say, oh, there it is, there's the white one with the red stripe. So maybe it helps somebody. If it doesn't help you right now, you never know. 2 years from now, you might be working on your car like, where's that damn video that guy made? So there you go.